Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived in Washington, D.C. for a series of high-stakes meetings with President Donald Trump and other top U.S. officials. This visit marks a pivotal moment in U.S.-Israeli relations as both leaders confront pressing issues from trade disputes to escalating Middle Eastern security concerns.
Netanyahu departed for Washington from Budapest yesterday, less than 24 hours after this pivotal trip was announced. The Prime Minister's flight reportedly took a convoluted route to avoid airspace of countries that would enforce the ICC arrest warrant against him. Netanyahu's agenda today is packed with critical discussions. His office announced that Israel-Turkey relations, the Iranian threat, and confronting the International Criminal Court are all topics of discussion. Upon arrival, Netanyahu proceeded directly to a meeting with the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, as well as the trade representative Jamieson Greer, to discuss the economic implications of the new 17% tariffs recently imposed by the Trump administration on Israeli goods. This move has raised concerns about its potential impact on Israel's economy. The Prime Minister aims to negotiate either an exemption or a reduction of these tariffs to mitigate economic repercussions. Another pressing issue is surely the ongoing war in Gaza. The IDF has intensified military operations against Hamas, aiming to pressure Hamas to release the remaining 59 hostages taken captive on October 7th. Netanyahu is discussing strategies with President Trump to address the hostage situation and explore potential resolutions. Following their joint statements, a wide-ranging meeting is expected in which Strategic Affairs Minister Ron Dermer and U.S. Middle East Envoy Steve Witkoff are expected to participate to try to push forward at least a partial hostage release and temporary ceasefire. The Iranian nuclear threat is also high on the agenda. With Iran's advancing nuclear program and regional activities, both leaders are deliberating measures to counter potential threats and ensure regional stability. Netanyahu engages at these very moments in these high-stakes discussions. His visit is expected to last until Tuesday, though Israeli media reports it could potentially be extended if necessary.
Israel is intensifying its focus on Iran's nuclear ambitions, with defense officials asserting the nation's capability to independently strike Iranian nuclear facilities. However, such an operation would necessitate coordination with the United States, their military backing and agreement, especially given potential Iranian retaliation against American assets.
Historically, Israel has prioritized the Iranian threat. In 2002, then Prime Minister Ariel Sharon cautioned the U.S. against focusing on Iraq, emphasizing Iran as the primary concern. Today, that apprehension persists, particularly with the impending expiration of the UN sanctions on Iran on October 2025. The IDF have been actively preparing for potential strikes, bolstered by recent successful operations in Syria and against the Houthis in Yemen. Yet despite these preparations, Israel recognizes the necessity of U.S. support, both diplomatically and militarily. This includes access to specific American military assets, crucial for such an operation. Within the U.S. administration, opinions are varied. While some officials advocate for a focus on the Iranian threat, others prioritize strategic concerns elsewhere in the world. This internal debate influences the extent of support Israel might anticipate from its key ally. As diplomatic efforts continue, and as Netanyahu addresses the Iranian issue with President Trump at these very moments in Washington, D.C., the two leaders are weighing the options to counter Iran's nuclear progression.
And joining us now to discuss all of this is Ariel Kahana, diplomatic correspondent at Israel-UAE. Thank you for joining.
Shalom, Sivan. It's good to be with you from the UAE.
Thank you. Now, let's start with today's meeting. Netanyahu and Trump are meeting as we speak in Washington, D.C. In your view, what is the main objective of this visit?
So I would say there are a few. First of all, I think it's very important to note that Netanyahu and Trump just met about 2 months ago. And I can't recall in the last 16 years I'm covering diplomatic issues that an American president is calling the Israeli Prime Minister from now to now and tell him immediately come to see me at the White House. We never saw such an event happening. And still, as you said, it's taking place today at the White House. Now, I think from both sides, the main topic is going to be the tariffs. Trump wants to show, I guess, the American public that the world leaders, and Netanyahu is definitely a very famous world leader, he wants to show world leaders, he wants to show, sorry, the American public that world leaders are coming to negotiate with him about the tariffs, that the move he decided, he announced last week is successful. So that's the reason why he called Netanyahu, Bibi is the way he calls him, to come quickly to the White House. Netanyahu, from his point of view as well, he wants the tariff 17% from over Israel is very high. Definitely, he wants it to reduce it. Maybe he will get even going back to zero as it used to be. But in any case, it's of course Netanyahu's interest to at least lower the limit of the tariffs over Israeli products. And I guess that we will see such an announcement sooner or later. Now, on top of all that, and that is also very important, we have, of course, the Iranian nuclear program, which comes to a very critical moment, and the war in Gaza, the hostages, the war in Syria, the war in Lebanon, etc., etc. The plate is full, Sivan.
So, yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to ask you. So trade and tariffs are officially on the agenda, but behind closed doors, how central do you think Iran is to the conversation?
At least from Israeli point of view, it's very essential, because just today there is an article in the Iranian formal newspaper by the government which says or explain, let's say, a very old decision by the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Many years ago, he said Iran will never use nuclear weapon. Today, the article is claiming that what Khamenei meant to say is we will not use a nuclear weapon. But from their point of view, it is okay to deploy it and even to develop it. In other words, they're getting close, very close to a point where they're going to have or might have nuclear weapon from Israeli point of view, but also from Trump point of view. This is a very dangerous moment. He will not let it happen. But Israel, which, you know, we are much closer to Iran than America, from Israeli point of view, it's a very critical moment, and I'm sure Netanyahu will raise that issue, and both leaders will talk about it very seriously. Of course, we saw all the deployment of airplanes, bombers, and so on all around the Middle East and close to Iran. So the tension regarding Iran is very, very high.
Now, we're hearing that Israel is signaling readiness to strike Iran's nuclear sites if needed, and the U.S. deployed a second THAAD battery to Israel as well. How serious is this message and the way it's reflected? What could an attack even look like operationally?
So I don't want to go into military aspects. It's not my expertise, but in any case, it's Israeli secrets, and I will not, of course, help the enemy to know. What I can say for sure, Sivan, is that Israel has an ability to attack very, very sharply, very hard Iranian facilities. We saw that happening on October 24. And as we all know, Iran's skies are open, actually, to additional Israeli hit. Now, whether Israel can destroy it, cannot destroy it, or whether American tools are stronger, definitely there are. But the ability is over there. And even to take the plan back for, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, will be very important from Israeli point of view. And I'll tell you what, the Iranians know it very well, because you see the leaders talking about such an option, threatening back Israel, threatening back America not to attack their facilities. So they know very well Israel might attack them every day, actually.
So having said all of that, what's your personal sense of where this all heads next? Are we on a path to diplomacy or to confrontation when it comes to Iran's nuclear ambitions?
I'll tell you what I'm confident about, and that is that Trump will not go to a bad deal. Trump understands very well how Iran is dangerous to America and to the entire world, as we said. So I'm sure he will not go to a bad deal like some Israelis are afraid of. Now, whether it will end with a deal or with a bomb, that is in the Iranian hands. Because you can hear some different voices in Iran. Some of them do want to go to negotiations, some do not. So I can't tell you what would be the decision from Tehran. But from America's point of view, as far as I understand it, Iran will not, as Trump is saying day after day, Iran will not have the ability to have nuclear weapon. Now, again, it's in Iranian hands to decide whether this no Iranian nuclear facility, will that happen by an agreement or by a bomb? Again, it's in Tehran's hands to decide.
And so finally, I'll ask you, looking at the bigger picture here, there's Gaza and Iran, shifting alliances in the region. How pivotal is this moment for U.S.-Israel relations?
It's very important. I guess the coming weeks will be crucial because, again, Iran is reaching a point that a decision will have to happen. Going back to the meeting we were discussing before, I guess it will be even more important from the one Trump and Netanyahu had on the beginning of February, because now it's time to make decisions that really we just can't wait anymore. The time is very, very short, and we hear the threats from Iran every day. We see the preparations from America and from Israel. So it's time to make decisions.
Ariel Kahana, thank you very much for all of this really important
Thank you very much, Ivan.
input. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hamas launched their largest rocket barrage into Israel for the first time in months, with the terrorist organization saying their target was the city of Ashdod. ILTV's Shosh Bedrosian is standing by with the details. Shosh, what can you tell us about this barrage of rockets? Was there damage and was anyone injured?
Well, Sivan, over the last few weeks, people from southern Israel to central Israel have had to shelter in place because of these rockets that Hamas has sent over from the Gaza Strip. But last night, on Sunday night, it was the largest rocket barrage we have seen in months here in Israel after the IDF says Hamas launched these rockets from a central city in Gaza. They say 10 rockets were launched into Israel. 5 of them were intercepted. 5 of them were not. Take a look at this video on your screen right now. This is the moment one of the rockets fell in the heart of the city of Ashkelon, causing heavy damage to buildings, vehicles, shattering windows and balconies of houses nearby. As a result, Ynet reports at least 27 people were evacuated to Barzilai Hospital in minor condition, including 17 panic victims and 7 victims with shrapnel injuries. Rocket interceptions were also seen over the city of Ashdod, and shrapnel from the interceptions was found scattered in surrounding communities. Well, Sivan, shortly after the rocket attack took place, the IDF says that they confirmed those 10 rockets were launched from the central Gaza city of Deir al-Bala, which is known to be a Hamas stronghold. It's also a location that has several refugee camps located inside of it. It's also a place that was used to hand over some of these released hostages in the first phase of the ceasefire hostage deal.
Now, Shosh, what did the IDF do after the rocket attack?
And following this rocket attack, Sivan, the IDF ordered evacuations to people living in or around the area, the city of Deir al-Bala, saying it was their final warning before the IDF conducted these airstrikes. Later on, the IDF did confirm they targeted and were able to identify the rocket launcher used in this attack. Now, the Prime Minister's office released a statement saying that Netanyahu said the IDF needs to respond in a strong force, in a strong way. He also says he approves the continued ground offensive happening inside of the Gaza Strip. Sivan?
Thank you very much, Shosh. Now, having said all of that, the IDF is preparing to resume the provision of humanitarian aid, including food, fuel, and medicine, to the Gaza Strip, despite ongoing challenges in the negotiations concerning hostages and the persistent threat posed by Hamas. According to Israeli media, the IDF is monitoring the depletion rate of essential supplies in Gaza, estimating that current reserves could last approximately 1 month. In an effort to ensure aid reaches civilians directly and to address concerns about compliance with international law, the IDF is planning a pilot program near Rafah. This initiative involves IDF soldiers overseeing the distribution of aid in coordination with international organizations. Thus far, a significant portion of aid has been stolen by Hamas, with less than half reaching the intended civilian population. The proposed program aims to mitigate this issue by ensuring aid is delivered directly to those in need. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz unveiled an intercepted document gathered by Israeli intelligence where he says it shows a direct link between Hamas and Iran leading up to October 7th. ILTV's Shosh Bedrosian has the details.
Defense Minister Katz says the interception of a document found in Gaza shows a direct link between Hamas and Iran leading up to October 7th. In a document Katz posted on X, he says it shows Hamas requested $500 million from the Islamic Republic to, quote, destroy Israel sometime before or leading up to the October 7th massacre. Katz also said the classified document was found in a senior Hamas tunnel in Gaza and was intercepted by Israeli soldiers during the ground offensive inside of the Gaza Strip. It was forwarded to the IDF intelligence unit. He said it proves a direct tie between Iran and Hamas leaders Yahya Sinwar and Mohammed Deif. Palestinian affairs for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds force known as Izadi approved the request according to Katz and continued to say his reply was that despite Iran's economic crisis and the suffering of its people, Tehran will continue to finance Hamas because, quote, fighting Israel and the U.S. is the regime's top priority.
והמסקנה ברורה, איראן היא ראש הנחש, ולמרות כל הכחשותיה גם בימים אלה, היא המממנת ומקדמת טרור בכל הגזרות, מעזה, דרך לבנון, סוריה, יהודה ושומרון, וגם מול החות'ים בתימן בעצם הימים האלה, תחת הדגל של הרצון להשמיד את מדינת ישראל.
This is not the first time the IDF says they discovered documents linking Hamas to Iran. In February of 2024, the IDF said they found documents in a tunnel in Khan Yunis that showed the transfer of $154 million in funds from Iran to Hamas.
Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar traveled to Abu Dhabi on Sunday, where he met with UAE Foreign Minister Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The two leaders discussed strengthening bilateral ties and tackling regional challenges, including the worsening humanitarian crisis in Gaza. According to UAE state media, Sheikh Abdullah emphasized the urgent need for a ceasefire, the release of hostages, and a de-escalation of tensions. He reaffirmed the UAE's support for diplomatic efforts that prioritize civilian protection and humanitarian aid. Sa'ar echoed the importance of regional cooperation, writing on social media that, quote, there are major challenges ahead of us in the Middle East, but there are partners for a better future of cooperation and stability. The talks also highlighted the UAE's call for renewed negotiations toward a two-state solution and joint efforts to combat extremism, promote tolerance, and strengthen coexistence in the region. As Israelis begin with shopping and preparations for the Passover holiday, there are many Holocaust survivors living in Israel who don't have the means to ensure a joyous holiday. And so one organization, Humanitarian, is making it its mission to ensure every Holocaust survivor has a proper Seder. ILTV's Lidar Gravid-Lazi joined Humanitarian as they gifted a food basket to a Holocaust survivor in Tel Aviv.
We're here today for a very special segment. Right now, I'm standing outside the house of a Holocaust survivor here in the center of Tel Aviv, and we're accompanying an incredible organization, Nechama Ve'Hatzalah, as they're about to go inside and give the Holocaust survivor a food basket ahead of the Passover holiday.
Hi.
Hi, thank you very much for such a
Sure,
nice
it's a
present.
pleasure.
Jenny, thank you so much for inviting us into your home.
Why not? I'm very happy to know, and I'm happy to help for everybody, believe me. If I can help for everybody, maybe everybody can help us, the survivors, you know. We're not many here. We're so little, but it's very, very sad period like this.
Meet Jenny, a 90-year-old Holocaust survivor living alone in Tel Aviv. She has very little to get through the Passover holiday, and the Nechama Ve'Hatzalah food basket makes a meaningful difference for her.
This
Everyone
is
is alone. This is happy to get gifts always. No way to give him, make him sad. This makes him happy, you know.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes happy to people. When it's alone, people are sad, and people are old, and it's very hard.
To receive a gift like this.
Yeah, everything is happy. Oh, right.
Matzot
Matzos.
for Passover.
A big one.
Matzah bright.
This is very nice. Matzah, very good, as a better religion say. Thank you very much.
Each basket provided by Nechama Ve'Hatzalah contains holiday essentials like matzah, along with Israeli staples like bamba and basic necessities like oil, coffee, and potatoes.
Sure, it's a privilege to give you, after what you have and what you had in your life, to bring you a package every year.
I know this is, I appreciate it very much.
And Jenny, you've
Sure.
been receiving these packages for many years now, right?
When he brings once in a year, I'm happy to get this. Because nobody is he bring. It's many organizations here, many amateur, but nobody brings me. Maybe other brings me, but I have not complaining, believe me. I'm satisfied what I live and how I live.
Jenny is just one of the many Holocaust survivors to receive a food basket this Passover. Each holiday, Nechama Ve'Hatzalah package and personally deliver thousands of food baskets to those in need.
Thank you for the big gift what you give to the Holocaust survivor. And I'm very grateful to the organization from the people that gives me for to have a nice party and a nice Chag Sameach for the Pesach. Really, I'm not so big, I'm not so rich to get this myself. So I am thankful for them very much for they beg me, because I'm really I'm very alone, and I'm a bad person, but I have nobody. And I'm grateful for this. All people would help us, and I'm really thankful, very grateful. I give him, and I wish to everybody a happy Pesach. And thank you to the same people that bring me. Thank you a lot. And I kiss you, everybody.
In addition to the food baskets, Nechama Ve'Hatzalah also provides Holocaust survivors with medical support, social interactions, and psychological help to improve their quality of life and allow them to live their remaining years with dignity.
I have to thank the Nechama Ve'Hatzalah. They give us more and help us a lot. And I thank you to the people that help them to help us. Thank you, and have a good Pesach Sameach. Thank you.
And now here with us is Shmuel Moskowitz, the co-founder of Nechama Ve'Hatzalah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sivan. I'm here in Givatayim, in our center, in logistics center, where we work in day and night to prepare all the packages before the holiday, Passover. And I reach out to everybody that hear me now and watching this news. Please help us, donate, press the click or scan the QR code and help us and send your donations as fast, and whatever you can spare, it's going to help us to prepare more packages for more families and more Holocaust survivors before the Passover. And I wish everybody from here happy Passover, and I hope all the families in Israel and around the world can join together and celebrate the holidays together. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and Chag Sameach. Tel Aviv and Berlin are officially twin cities. The announcement came after Berlin's state parliament unanimously approved the move, deepening ties between the Israeli and German capitals. Tel Aviv Mayor Ron Huldai welcomed the partnership, calling it a bond rooted in historical memory and shared values like democracy, freedom, and tolerance. He thanked Berlin's Mayor Kai Wegner for standing with Israel, especially after October 7th, when Wegner visited Tel Aviv and vowed to keep the Israeli flag flying over Berlin's City Hall until all hostages return home. Both mayors say the partnership will strengthen cooperation and fight rising anti-Semitism, while also celebrating what unites the two vibrant cities: diversity, culture, and innovation. Tel Aviv becomes Berlin's 19th twin city, joining places like London, Paris, and Kiev, while Berlin is now Tel Aviv's 22nd. A formal signing ceremony is set for May 5th in Berlin. Now let's take a look at the weather forecast. Cloudy skies are expected around most of the country tonight, with temperatures reaching lows of around 19 degrees Celsius or 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Then tomorrow we'll see more cloudy skies alongside warm temperatures, seeing highs of about 30 degrees Celsius or 88 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a wrap for today's news. For the latest updates from Israel on all your devices, be sure to follow our ILTV channel, subscribe to our newsletter, and explore our website, iltv.tv. Stay informed with the latest news straight from the heart of Israel. I'm Sivan Raviv. Be well, be safe, and thank you so much for watching.